Welcome back, everybody. My name is All Fun and Games. I stream every day on Twitch TV, and I also make fun little videos here on YouTube. Have you been traveling around the caves and found these little tiny little ponds and wondered, what the heck do I do with these things? Well, if you've come across them, I would probably suggest bringing your fishing rod, as you're about to get probably one of the coolest things in DST. Now, this is something that I don't necessarily say that you have to do, but of course, if you decide to fish in here, well, guess what? You're going to get yourself none other than an eel. And as war talks, when I kill said eel, I'm going to get myself a little bit of souls. Now, the problem with the eels is dead or alive. Unfortunately, you obviously want to have them dead, so they stack. Now, the thing is, when you keep them fresh, though, you can obviously use them for what they are and make them last a little bit longer, especially if you're fishing for days and days and days. So I might suggest maybe making yourself a little backpack if you decide to keep them for any specific reason. But anyways, once we finally have caught the said little eels, we can now go over to, which portal should we go up? Let's go up this portal, shall we? When we go up the portal, well, what are we looking for? We're looking for none other than the Pig King. I probably would also suggest, if you decide to go into the caves, make sure that you're prepared. If you haven't watched my Year in Don't Starve Together beginner guide, I probably would suggest doing so. I explain how to go into the caves and get yourself ready for doing so in a full Year in Don't Starve Together. Now, I'm playing War Talks, so a lot of things don't like me, but that's not my problem. I'm just basically going to go over to the next to the Pig King anyways. As the pigs decide to attack me, they might be a little bit surprised with what kind of stuff I have in my pocket, as I'm basically just going to kill them as I approach. But once again, if you watch my previous beginner guide, I decide that I want to actually relocate all the pig houses when all the pigs are dead, and essentially move them over onto my base. But let's just imagine that we're not playing as War Talks for today. The only reason why I'm doing that is because it's a lot quicker to get back and forth. So essentially, we went down in the caves, we found the ponds, we brought down our fishing rod. If you've never crafted a fishing rod before, well, it's fairly simple to do so. All you really need to do in order to craft a fishing rod is essentially get yourself hold on a second, let me get it ready for you. Uncraft, go to the fishing tab, and now I can make myself a handy dandy little freshwater fishing rod. And essentially, you can also make yourself a sea fishing rod. But let's just talk about this one for now. So the fishing rod, like I said, becomes available when you're standing next to a science machine, and it requires 2 twigs and 2 silk. This will last quite a while, as I'll also get you quite a lot of fish. However, when you need to make more, I would probably keep suggesting to make more freshwater fishing rod, as a deep sea fishing rod is not going to get you what you want. So, like I said, when we decide to do that, well, guess what? We can now catch a ton of fish, and mainly a ton of eels. When we go down to the ponds and we decide to use them to catch some eels, there is no fish down in the caves, so we are only going to get eels out of all the ponds. And yes, the ponds do refresh, so over time, just like fish above ground, you're going to get more eels in said pond. But the bonus about the eels is, dead or living, well, if we go next to the Pig King and we decide to give him, well, he's very happy about it. I don't know why, but he's very happy about eels, and he gives you 5 gold per eel. So yeah, dead or alive, well, that's a pretty good thing. I always wondered why it didn't really matter if they were dead or alive, and they still give you the same value. So it's good, because alive, they do not stack, but dead, they do. So if you are playing as any character and you want to make sure that you get the most use out of this, bring down multiple different fishing rods. And guess what? Once you have the fishing rod crafted for the first time, you can make as many as you want. And there's so much silk and everything in the caves, so as long as you have twigs on you, you're pretty much set to continuously make as many fishing rods as you want. It's probably the easiest way of getting gold in the caves, if you're okay with the challenge. And sometimes, like I said, when it comes to these little ponds, they're not the easiest things to find. So you might end up finding yourself a little bit of ponds near where the toadstool is at, and there's not really anything around here that's going to attack you. So if it's close enough and you're able to continue to fish and fish and fish, well, guess what? We just went down to this pond and caught all the fish that were down here. And I mean, when I say fish, I mean eels. But when we do actually catch them all, they were actually regenerate pretty quickly. So yeah, keep using your fishing rod down here, catch all the eels, get as much gold as you want, and just rinse and repeat. It's an easy solution for getting tons of gold and Don't Starve Together. It doesn't really require much other than finding yourself the ponds. If you don't know how to fish and Don't Starve Together, I'm going to make a small little video on how to do so next. So if you honestly want to know how the easiest way to do so, stay tuned. But anyways, get yourself some eels, trade them in for gold, and I'll see you in the next one.